Mark Carney called it a negotiation when he was asked about Canada's plans to address Donald Trump's tariffs. And he also said nothing is off the table. So what is your takeaway in terms of Ottawa's strategy now and going forward?
Well, my main takeaway listening to this today, Sandy, was that it was very interesting that Prime Minister Carney, in this capacity, did not immediately announce any kind of counter tariff. And I have to tell you, from listening and interviewing a number of stakeholders in the auto sector, that was their ask of him. You have seen other examples of Donald Trump threatening tariffs and other countries waiting until they're actually imposed before responding with their own counter tariffs. And in the interim, oftentimes a deal can be worked out. I think that's what Mr. Carney is referencing when he talks about the start of a negotiation. So it's interesting that he did not say, this is exactly what we're going to do right now. He's going to meet with premiers, for example. He's going to talk further with people around the cabinet table, and then maybe that conversation with President Trump as well, and ultimately arrive at a conclusion should those tariffs be imposed, and a whole bunch of other ones Donald Trump is threatening for next week, about how exactly Canada responds. The question, of course, is to what degree is it counter tariffs or is it export taxes on energy? He was pretty, he avoided being put on the spot on that and said essentially that the action itself will tell the tale of that.
Avoided being that specific. Now, it was interesting, Vassy, that it was the U.S. president who reached out to the Prime Minister to chat in the coming days. And you have to wonder how that will go. I mean, if we're going to speculate here, right?
Yeah, and against the backdrop, of course, as we've been listening to this federal election, right? So right now he's the Prime Minister. As he heads off to his campaign stop, he's the Liberal leader. He'll be embarking on these conversations, or this conversation, which is, it's also fascinating. It hasn't happened yet, right? Since he was sworn in as Prime Minister, he'll be embarking on that conversation in the middle of an election campaign. He even left open the door to a potential visit to Washington, though one isn't in the works. So I think that the story here is really that the big part of the story is yet to come as we stare down that deadline for auto tariffs and other tariffs as soon as next week.